Hey guys, it's Ellen here, and it's Mini Monday Madness. We're painting some mini houseplants today, a aloe leaf plant and a Monstera leaf plant. This is so simple and easy to do. I show you how I draw them out, and then we go over how I paint them. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I have exclusive tutorials there weekly. It's a great place for people who want to come and support my channel, and I appreciate it so much. And don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials up. Sometimes they're not up all at the same time. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start by going over supplies. I have 2 pieces of Arches 100% cotton cold pressed paper, 3-inch squares. I've drawn out my plants on here already. I have my paints, my palette, paper towels, water jars. I always have the paints and everything in the description box in my YouTube tutorials, so you just click the word show more and we'll scroll down and you'll see all the supplies. So I'm going to show you how I just drew these out very simply. Just grab any pen here. Basically, for one of them, you're making just basically a rectangular shape, right? And for the plant holder, you're just going to place these little rectangular stilts kind of right here, one on each side, one kind of in the middle. Then you're going to connect a little piece on the bottom of both of them, and then the little bottom on the back, the little one on the bottom here. And for this aloe, you don't have to follow the same shape as me. You're just making these pointy little spiky plants like this. And there you go. For the Monstera leaf, similar thing of the stand, maybe make it a little square as opposed to rectangular, and maybe taller if you want to do that. And again, you can offset that and have the little one back here. And for this leaf, you start out by making like a shape, like a pear, pear shape, upside down pear shape, and then you would go in and you put in these little, when you're drawing it out, when you're painting it, you're just painting all this area and not this side here. You're gonna erase this side part, so it ends up being like this, if that makes any sense. And you can leave some white parts like that. Again, you draw it out, sketch it out like this, and you just put the little marks here, and then you erase them, and you're only going to paint in this green area here. It's a fun big old leaf to paint. And paint these pots any color you want. Alright? So I've drawn out my pots. I've got my palette here. We'll be working with greens and some colors. Make the pots any color you want. Terracotta, black, red, purple, blue, green, doesn't really matter, gray. I might do terracotta or a deep navy or whatever. Grab any brush that you feel like you can work with the small areas with. I have my Princeton long round because there's this nice tip. I'm going to erase some of this sketch that I did here with my kneaded eraser. So, you can paint the leaves first, the pot second, vice versa, whatever. I'm just going to mix up some green. So I have this olive green. This is actually gouache, Holbein gouache. And I'm going to make a couple of greens. Let me make a little darker one back here. I have Peacock blue. I'm going to mix in some of this Peacock blue. People keep asking me, do I prefer a tube over pan paints? I prefer a tube, and if they dry, it's easy to activate them. That's kind of how I prefer it. So I'm trying to get a darker green here. I've got the Peacock, olive green. Put in some Dyke brown. A little quinacridone magenta. Keep building up this dark green color. Make it whatever dark green works for you. Just want it pretty much darker than this one I have here. Okay. And then you can mix up a yellow green. I have my medium Cadmium Yellow deep here. Grab some of that. Let's get my 3 greens. Mixing some of that. So you see the difference? I have like a yellowish green, a little medium green, and a dark green. So I'm going to go start to paint in the Magenta leaf. I'll take the medium one. This one's going to be, so we're going to fill in that area. See? Doing wet on dry. And that's what's good about this pointy brush. And just fill in this areas. Woohoo. Once I fill this in, you can go in and flood in some darker tones if you want, some lighter tones. If it's too much paint, see, I take it off with a paper towel. Just fill in that leaf. Now this is going to be still damp while it's still damp, which I like about this brush in particular is the point. You can grab just a teeny bit with the point of this brush and you can just tap in. See how I just really lightly tapped in? Let me zoom in so you could see. I just really lightly tapped in with a teeny tip some darker tones on the edges of the leaf. Just like that. I'm going to grab the darker. So now you can grab the paint again and you're just going to paint in those areas we talked about. We drawn in, not the other part. Just like this. See, as I fill that in, it's still very damp. So you can go in and just take some of this darker color, or even the darker green here, and just kind of tap in some of that darker color. Because these leaves are pretty dark, but they do have some tonality to them. See, I can go back in here again, put in some of this darker green. Just like that. Or you can just make it completely, you know, much more darker than that. So I'm going to go and take this dark green, I'm going to water it down, go back in here with my leaf. A lot of sounds going on around my studio today. We're just going to fill this in with the brush. Got planes, we got helicopters. See? Just like that, that area that we didn't. And you can get even darker still. I can go in and add some of this Peacock blue. Some brown. Some red. Get this really deep green. Get it even darker still. See that? So then the leaves don't look so monotonous, like one tone. This one's fairly dry. I was going to make this one much darker on top. just like that. This is a real fun exercise. Teeny tiny houseplants. Just filling in with the darker color. So you get a variety of the 3 tonalities going in the greens here. If you mess up like the spacing of these little plants, the leaves, you can go back in when it dries and just use a white gouache and go over it for the white areas that you want. So it will work out just as well. And you don't have to worry about, you know, that you missed anything. Put a little line in here. This is dry. So I would wait till this dries to go the ones behind it and the ones underneath it. Here's some stems of the actual plants. One up here. So in the meantime, I'm going to switch over. We'll come back to that one and do the little aloe one. So we got some nice greenies here. I want this more of a blue green, so I'm going to add a little peacock to this. Just a little bit. Peely peel. So again, we're going to have fun just going in and filling in these tall greens, just pointy little greens, just like so. And we're going to have different tonalities to this one too. I'm just throwing in a few right now. Just simple. Make sure they have that point to them. You can flush this in right like that. Put some other ones back here. Have fun with this. This is like pretty simple. You want to kind of keep, like, if you can, white space in between them. If you can't, no big deal. Like I said, you can go back in with your gouache and just go on the edges of each one with a little white, because we're going to try and keep them separate and have a little white edge to them. As you see me doing here. Just like this. See, I have a little white space in between. Trying to get a nice little point on these. And some can be just a little bit darker in the back. Don't want to keep them all the same tone. Get even a little bit darker. To get the idea. And then the pot can be any color you want. Terracotta, gray, whatnot. Might do a little brownish gray. I have some black hair. I'll add a little blue to it. Get this pretty gray tone. So on the green side, get some more blue in here. Blue brown. Well, became like a bluish gray. Go ahead and add a little black to that. All right, so we got this little gray pot. And of course the holders will be much darker. When this dries, I'll go back in and I'll put the holders in. The stand, I mean, with the holders. So just fill that in. I always like to put a little darker color on the edges. It kind of looks more three-dimensional, so I'll grab some black. And I'll let that bleed in on the side and the bottom. I'm going to add another darker green one back here too. All right, we're going to switch back again. Now that this one's dry, we can do the underneath leaves here in the lighter color. A little underleaf. It's very watery. You want to take up, I keep smacking my my paintbrush onto the paper towel, so get rid of the excess water. And here's this back leaf. And remember, like I said, if you mess up, you could just add some whitewash too, and I'll show you how to do that after these guys were dry. Okay, so we finished that, and we can make the pot color. I think I might do terracotta. It's a little messy here. So I've got the magenta. I'll add some this cadmium yellow deep. I even have an orange here. Get this terracotta color. A little more orange. Okay, so I'm going to put in this pot color underneath the leaves. It's terracotta color. And again, we could just fill that in, and we can add the plant holders afterwards because it's going to be darker color than the pot. So this is still damp. You can go in and add a deeper tone, like I get to show you with the other one on the side. Gonna grab some darker colors here. I'm just going to tap it in underneath the leaf and on the side and a little bit on the bottom. And let that bleed out. Okay, we can switch back. This is a back and forth kind of exercise. With the little teeny tip of your brush, going to take some of the darker green, and we're going to do like this stripy, zigzaggy on the little aloe. So we're just making these little marks, as you see I'm doing here. So it's kind of like zigzaggy up and down. We'll do that in all the little leaves. They look like stripes, but they're not as perfectly stripes. They have this little ziggy zag. Do that on all of them. See, I'm just making these little marks that go like this. Doot, 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 doot. Making sure you see that. Okay, you see that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I make sure you don't lose everything. Just keep doing like that on all the little leaves. Boop, boop. Some of these leaves are still wet. Obviously, you're going to get darker stripes on the darker leaves. But you get the idea. I do believe I have a tutorial on how to do this with the same type of plant, but it's with a cactus for Mini Monday. And these are just like house plants. So it's very loose. And now that we've got the stand here, you can make it black or brown. I have that Van Dyke brown here. It's a pretty color. I'm just going to fill in the stand. Brown. Very simple, just like this skinny little sticks. And then one here. Look how cute. And then we'll switch back. This is still a little damp, but for the leaf, you can go in and add a little detail line. If you want to do that. And on the back one here. Just adds some more depth to the painting. And I'm going to get this little stem here darker. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I meant by the gouache. Not liking the way that one's going. Gonna add a little darker tones to this one. So in some of these other ones, like that dark green one, I have white gouache already over here. Just going to activate it. And so gouache is opaque if you have a teeny bit of water. If you add a lot of water, it turns into watercolor basically. So you can add, you know, some of those Montessori leaves have those little holes. You can just add that. And if you messed up in here, like I said, you can go and add the gouache. See, just go and add the gouache, and no one would ever know. And that's how you do it with gouache. And same thing with this one. Remember I said if you're painting over the edges, you're going to add a little white. Put a little white to the edges. Same thing. Either you keep it separate or you add it. And then we just add the stem in this one. I think I'll just make this one black. You can make any color you want. This one's a little taller. Very simple. You know, and then you just go in and tweak whatever you have. This one, I'm just going to tweak the dark green. This color got a little mushy. Just go fix it. Tweak it. And there you have it. Monday Madness. Houseplants. Let me zoom back out. Isn't that cute? You can do so many of them. There's so many different kind of houseplants. I mean, you can have a field day with doing little mini houseplants. And you can make a whole wall of framed mini houseplants. It'd be so much fun. And if you wanted to, let's get a little creative. See, they're kind of boring and just sitting there. I know. Let's add a little stripe to the pot. Why should we be a pot that's boring, right? Tendon terracotta, you can have stripes, polka dots, whatever. Make it different, unique, the way you like it. So I hope you guys enjoy this quick little mini Monday Madness. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials are up. And also check out my Patreon on Thursdays. I have exclusive tutorials and PDF downloads that go with them. Patreon is a place where people can just support my channel here and all the work that I do. And I have my acrylic art channel. I'm trying to upload more acrylic paintings on that one. That's the Amazing Art channel. It's in my description box and my About page. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a fantastic Monday. Take care, and I will speak to you soon.